where the Indian government has imposed port restrictions on the import of certain goods such as ready-made garments and processed food items from Bangladesh. This is in response to similar curbs placed by Dhaka on certain Indian products last month. According to a notification of the Director General of Foreign Trade, these port restrictions will not apply to Bangladeshi goods transiting through India but destined for Nepal and Bhutan. The order said that ready-made garments imports from Bangladesh will not be allowed via land. However, it is allowed only through Nhava, Sheva and Kolkata seaports. The notification also says that these port restrictions do not apply to the import of fish, LPG, edible oil and crushed stones from Bangladesh. Take a listen to what former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Ambassador Veena Sikri, has to say.
Well, under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, for the last 15 years, India has granted full access to Bangladesh commodities in India. It's completely free market access, except for items like tobacco and alcohol, things like that. It was completely free market access, despite the fact that we don't have a bilateral FTA or anything, but still we have given always this full and free market access. But we have seen that in the last 8 months since Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was forced to leave Dhaka, and the regime, interim regime, which is not even a legitimate regime, it's just an interim regime led by Chief Advisor Mohammed Yunus. They have arbitrarily been restricting movement of goods between India and Bangladesh. For example, they wanted to show that they are not dependent on India, so they were trying to get imports of goods, even cotton yarn, all the items that go into their ready-made garment sector, which is their major export sector, and all the items where India had a predominant place of supply. So they were trying to get imports of these goods from other countries like Pakistan, Turkey, even USA, even China. But everywhere they found that the transport costs were very high, and even the cost of these products in those countries was very high. So to reduce the advantage for India, they decided to restrict import of these goods from land ports and said it can only come by sea and so on and so forth. So they were doing this to make it more even-handed for the other countries. Well, India was patient for a little while, but when we saw that Bangladesh is doing this deliberately in a move aimed at harming the bilateral trade between India and Bangladesh, India has now taken reciprocal measures. And so items like their ready-made garment exports, which is a very big item of exports, like $700 million, between coming from Bangladesh to India every year. And this was, one must remember that the freedom that India had given to Bangladesh.
And we already have a trade deficit with them.
Yes, to make up the trade deficit. So we said to make up the trade deficit, and they were always very worried about the trade deficit. So to make up the huge trade deficit, we said that we will allow you, free imports, no duties, and also from all ports, land ports, every port. So now that Bangladesh is not interested, it seems, in allowing goods from India into Bangladesh, we have also taken these reciprocal measures. Of course, it will harm their exports to India, and I think it's difficult at this time for Bangladesh to find other markets because the world situation, the market demand is fairly low at this time. So I think that Bangladesh should think seriously about what they want, whether they want good bilateral relations with India, they want free trade with India, they want to increase their exports to India. Bangladesh should